What's up, everyone? Today I'm talking about Andrew Yang, universal basic income, and how automation is gonna steal your job. Even if you're a doctor, lawyer, bartender, chef, gymnast, service dog, hooker, comedian, it won't be long until I'm replaced in here. And this is my bedroom. It's what Andrew Yang calls a tsunami of unemployment, and he's running for president with a plan to deal with it.
If you've heard anything about me in my campaign, you've heard something like this. There's an Asian man running for president who wants to give everyone $1,000 a month.
Hey, you had me at Asian man. But wow, $1,000 a month? That's enough to buy health insurance plus $500 left over to definitely not buy drugs with. This is Knee the Curve. Welcome to Knee the Curve. I'm Emmett Short, and if you don't know, this is a show about the topics leading us to the technological singularity. There's a tsunami of change about to hit us, and most people are too busy building sandcastles to notice. So hit subscribe to stay up to date on human obsolescence. I know a lot of you are waiting for the sex robot episode, but I'm not going to put that up until I do rigorous research, and those creepy ass dolls are not cheap. And I'm not going to get one secondhand. Ugh. Plus, UBI is a core issue when it comes to sex bots. How's an honest lady of the night supposed to pay the bills when robot blowjob machines are popping up all over London? What that? Those are urinals? If those are urinals, then how come when I was in one, I had a mind-blowing... Never mind. Moving on. Let's get into it. Jobs. Those things robots keep stealing from America's Mexicans. I'm kidding. Mexicans don't want these jobs.
More than 90% of our hired farm workers come from Mexico, but we're seeing 150,000 fewer farm workers each year.
Young people growing up in rural Mexico are getting more education. That gives them a ticket to higher paying jobs that demand more skills and provide them with more stable employment. The alternative is to find new ways of growing these crops with fewer workers. So it's all about technology.
Yeah, turns out nobody wants to stand in the sun 14 hours a day picking strawberries. And if you do, you've taken this whole strawberries are my favorite food thing way too far. Strawberries are for breakfast or dessert or sex stuff. But that's it. Anyway, robots are taking our jobs.
The 5 most common jobs in the United States right now are administrative and clerical work, retail and sales, food service and food prep, truck driving and transportation and manufacturing. Those 5 jobs comprise about half of all American jobs. Over the next number of months, AI is going to become indistinguishable from a person.
Yeah, like the new Google answering service that comes with the Pixel phones. It's amazing.
Google Assistant is getting spooky good. Google's Gmail now finishes your sentences, stealing jobs from millions of annoying spouses. If you really knew me that well, you'd know I like to finish my own... Don't say thoughts. I say thoughts. Now, historically, people that feared machines would put everyone out of work have been called Luddites, which is a term from the 1800s for the bands of English workers who destroyed machinery that was threatening their jobs. I think it was cotton gins or looms, but it got pretty violent with a lot of people dying and one unsympathetic factory owner, William Horsfall, getting his balls shot off. Yeah, because of looms.
How many of you have noticed stores closing where you live? I know you're from all over the country. And why are those stores closing? One word answer, Amazon. Amazon soaking up $20 billion in business every single year. How much are they paying in taxes? 0.
Hey Bezos, if I were you, I'd start worrying about my balls.
We automated away 4 million manufacturing jobs in Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. And my friends in technology know we're about to do the same thing to millions of retail jobs, call center jobs, fast food jobs, truck driving jobs, and on and on.
But ultimately, Luddites have always been wrong. Every time machines take over an industry, new and often better jobs have been created. In fact, AI and robotics are already creating new jobs. There is a cafe in Tokyo where the waiters are actually robots controlled by paraplegic people using eye movements. You gotta hand it to technology. These people had their spines crushed. Technology found a way to crush their souls. Yeah, thanks for the waiter gig. Nobody thought of inventing an eye-controlled drafting board so she can get back to being a fucking architect? No, Thanks for the 9-hour shift serving coffee to the mobile elite for minimum wage. Really fills the void from her last job designing Tokyo's Olympic Stadium. Great work. Okay, so that one's not great. But if history repeats itself, more and better jobs will follow. Why would this time be any different?
The Industrial Revolution, which people generally refer to and say, hey, we've been through this before. Bain and McKinsey project that this time is going to be 3 to 4 times faster and larger than that. According to economic theory, if you were to automate away 4 million manufacturing jobs, which we did, those workers would move, get retrained, reskilled, find new, higher productivity jobs, and all would be well. But when I dug into the numbers, it turns out that almost half of those workers left the workforce and never worked again. And of that group, about half filed for disability. And then you saw a surge in substance abuse and drug overdoses and suicides. That's actually a much better sign of what's going to happen when the 3.5 million truckers and the 2.5 million call center workers and the over 10 million retail workers suffer from the same sort of displacement.
Right. The scale of job displacement across multiple industries is going to be bigger than anything that's happened in the past by orders of magnitude. Enter UBI, Universal Basic Income, or what Andrew Yang has rebranded, the Freedom Dividend.
Universal basic income, money for nothing and chicks for free.
That's not what it is.
UBI, which sounds like a bowel disease.
Also not what it is.
We need to have everyone share in all of the gains from this progress and innovation. My flagship proposal, the Freedom Dividend, would put $1,000 a month into the hands of every American so that if your mall closes or your job gets blasted away, you at least have $12,000 a year that helps take the pressure off and helps you transition in a better direction.
Well, that sounds dope, but the fear is that with no jobs available and people getting free money, everyone will start living pointless, unproductive, meaningless lives. Basically, the whole country will turn into housewives of Beverly Hills.
You're delinking income from actually earning a living. When you work, you get more out of it than money. You get self-esteem.
It just incentivized people to be more or less industrious, I would say.
Are you a self-made success story?
Well,
why are you robbing other people their ability to be a self-made success story?
Wait, so robots are coming for our jobs and universal basic income is coming for our meaning. But what about the vast majority of people who hate their jobs? Does that mean they hate meaning? Or do some jobs offer people a lot more meaning than others? Or maybe the more money you make, the more options you have to create meaningful things in your life, like support a family or pursue those kinds of jobs people don't hate. What are those jobs called? Oh yeah, careers. Chris Rock said it best.
Now the people in the audience with careers need to learn to shut the fuck up when you're around people with jobs. Don't let your happiness make somebody sad.
Yeah, it turns out people don't really like jobs. How did all these people with careers not see that? People like Bernie Sanders.
I believe in a jobs guarantee.
Why is a federal jobs guarantee better than a universal basic income?
I will tell you why. A simple reason. I think most people want to work. And I believe under a Sanders administration, what we would do is create those jobs.
You couldn't even call it a federal career guarantee? No, you're going to get a government job and you're going to work hard. You're going to love it because it gives you meaning. Okay, what kind of job am I going to get?
You got an infrastructure which is crumbling. We can put millions of people to work doing that.
You want me to be a construction worker? Hey, Bernie, fuck you. We're talking half of all jobs in America gone in the next 2 decades, and you want to create a huge government bureaucracy to manage everybody's job.
I think in practice it would be somewhere between highly impractical and dystopian, because if you've ever employed lots and lots of people, you have to put a bureaucracy in place to employ them and monitor them. And then if they don't like their job or don't like their boss or aren't doing a good job and they're dependent upon that job for their very survival and you're guaranteeing them that job, then what do? And that to me is the path we must avoid. It might be well-intended, but we might as well just give everyone gray overalls while we're at it.
So what will people do if it's not mandatory government jobs, which let's hope that doesn't happen, Bernie, you psychopath. What do UBI opponents think people are going to do when the tsunami of unemployment hits? Just calmly adjust?
The Industrial Revolution at the turn of the century included mass riots that killed dozens of Americans and caused billions of dollars worth of damage. We now have Labor Day as a national holiday because of those riots. We implemented universal high school in 1911 in part as a response to these problems. So even if you just rely upon history, you would expect a lot of violence and tumult and conflict.
Luddites are going to wreck shit. It's a recurring theme. But what you may not realize about those original Luddites is they weren't angry with the machines.
If technology was going to be used in a way that benefited everyone, they were happy with it. They saw this really not as a technological fight, but an economic fight. When the Luddites started breaking machines, it was because they had lost their attempt to mitigate the way that economic change would happen.
Yeah, people don't have a problem with the machines doing tasks we don't want to do. We love that. The problem is with the economic upheaval that comes along with the transition. The choice we have to make is, who's in control of our economic future? Who do you think is most capable of creating the new, more fulfilling and higher paying jobs of the future? The government? Andrew Yang says you are.
Do we want to work for ourselves or do we want to work for the government? And if this is the choice we have, it's not about what would serve our government, it's what would serve ourselves. We are the owners and shareholders of the society. It's our wealth, and we should be able to decide what we want to do with it.
Opponents say the big problem to doing UBI is people are going to be too lazy to do anything, so literally nothing will happen. Seems like the choice is between nothing happening or people getting their balls shot off. If I was a software engineer, my balls would be donating to Andrew Yang's campaign. And guess what?
Here are the top 5 occupations of donors to the Yang Gang. Software engineers, number 1. So these are the people that are closest to the action. When I talk to software engineers, they're like, oh yeah, it's real, because they know what's going on.
The smartest of them have been talking about UBI for years.
I think ultimately we will have to have some kind of universal basic income. I don't think we're going to have a choice.
Basic minimum earnings for everybody so that there's nobody that is having to sleep on the street.
We should explore ideas like universal basic income to make sure that everyone has a cushion to try new ideas.
These are the guys making the machines. I say we trust their self-interest and let them give us money. It's like preemptive reverse extortion. It's like if a small business went to the mob and was like, hey, can we pay you some money to protect us from you? It's brilliant. And it's worth taking a moment to reflect on why this is all happening right now. And it's in the name of the show, the knee of the curve. The line on the graph is the rate of technological advancement. It's growing exponentially. And the point of most extreme change is the knee of the curve. Humanity's getting very close. And things are going to change faster than they've ever changed before. And that's why we need to react to this problem in a way we've never tried before. Now look, I don't know if universal basic income is going to fix all the problems of this job loss tsunami, but after you understand the situation and listen to all the other plans, it absolutely seems like the least crazy. If you'd like me to have a basic income, I'm only $1,000 a month away from earning $1,000 a month on Patreon. Link in description. If you'd like to write jokes for this series, which I don't have a joke for, so there's your in. Hit me up on Twitter @KneeOfTheCurve where I post the topics for upcoming episodes. If you get a joke on the show, you get a credit in the description, a shout out at the end of the episode, and soon, prizes, but not till I get at least one Patreon supporter. Looking at you, Mom. Let me know in the comments what you think about automation and UBI, and if you're in the Yang Gang, please share this video with your community. Hit subscribe to stay up to date on how technology is changing everything. Peace.